Hey everybody, Asian Fasha Gamer here. I just want to take a second, put out a small disclaimer to let you all know that I am not a mental health professional. I just want to do my best to be able to help others with my own experience, and at the very least, hope to be able to point people in the right direction if they do need help. And of course, I also want to remind people that we do go into very heavy and potentially triggering subjects. So that is something to be considered. But I do appreciate your support for you being here. Thank you so much, and I hope you enjoy this episode of Fahzaly Advice. Hello everybody, and welcome to another episode of Fahzaly Advice. I do want to take a second to say thank you to you for your support. It truly does mean the world that you watch, that you enjoy, and I hope that you have found value in my words. Thank you so much for supporting Fahzaly Advice. And of course, to our submitters, for without you, there would be no podcast. And of course, to anybody who is thinking about or considering submitting, check out the descriptions in the bio for the information on how to do so, as well as at the end of this podcast. Now then, let's get on into our first submission for today, shall we? Which is brought to us by New Dad. And they write, "Hey there, Faja. I hope you are doing good, my friend. So, recently, I found out some amazing news. My wife told me about an hour ago from writing this email that we are pregnant. I can honestly say that I am truly beyond happy about all of it. And I cannot wait to meet my future kid. This is the first child in both of our families from our generation. And we are excited and scared about what the future has in store for us as a family. Now, I've been scouring the internet for every bit of advice that I can find because I want to be the best father I can be. And I know that you are also a father. So I wanted to ask you, what advice would you give to new parents? Sincerely, New Dad." Well, New Dad, first off, congratulations. This is an exciting new chapter for both of your lives, as your lives are going to be changing forever. But you have each other, and I can tell that y'all are going to be amazing parents, as excited as you are. Now, my number one piece of advice to new parents is stop seeking advice. I know that sounds counterintuitive, but the truth of the matter is, your journey, both of your journeys, as parents, as well as your child themselves, will be unique in their own right, in the experiences that you will have. And though the advice that others may have and the experiences that they have are valid and may give you a starting point to guide you to the right place, more often than not, they won't help you as much as you think they will. Their advice is only tantamount to a summary. But the meat and potatoes of being a parent comes from stumbling through. And as long as you have the right mindset as a parent, doesn't matter how much you stumble, for you have tried your best and you will continue to try. And that means more than you realize. You don't need to be the perfect parent, because guess what? There is no perfect parent. There's no guidebook. There's no specific structure to parenthood. Because, as I stated, each journey is as unique as your child will be. And there will be things that no matter what you read, no matter what advice you receive, you won't be ready to face it until you do. And as stupid as that might sound to some people, it's how life can be sometimes. Life can be kind of stupid sometimes. And it's something that we're going to have to face. And it's going to be something that you're going to face more often than not on this journey as a parent. There's going to be so many things that are going to be new, exciting, and scary. But face them with the patience and the love that you have, you're willing to have for your future child. And remember, you're not in this alone. You have your partner. And together, this is a journey that you will weather together. And no matter what may come, as long as you have love in your heart, my friend, I trust that you be amazing parents. Now, a few things to remember that, apologies, I just needed to adjust, but a few things to remember that a lot of parents seems to forget. Or at the very least, a lot of parents have a misconception of, which is, your child is not born to fulfill your needs, your wishes, or your wants. Your child is an autonomous human being with their own journey to take, their own mistakes to make. And the best thing that you can do for them is to be there for them, to love them, and to understand as best as you can, they are their own person. And as much as you can want and wish for them, those wants and wishes tantamount to absolutely nothing when it comes to their choices, their free will, and who they will become. The role that you have as a parent is to be a guide, a teacher, and to love them, not to control them, not to protect them constantly. Because when you shield them from the world, they learn absolutely nothing. I know it is the innate instinct of every parent to want to protect their child from all the mistakes that they faced in life and all of the hardships that they had to face. Remember, all that you faced is what made you who you are. And your child, much as you would want to save them from it, will have to face their own suffering and will overcome it just as well. And with your help, with your understanding, as long as you hold on to this mindset, that you are there as a guide, to love, to understand, not to control, your relationship and your child will flourish in more ways than you could be ready for. And that statement in itself is an amazing thing. And it's something that a lot of parents are blinded to because they are constantly battering their child with their own wishes, dreams, and wants without even trying to listen to what their child wants. Never forget to listen. As much as you have to tell as a parent, as much as you have to share as a parent, it is just as important to listen. Because if you're not willing to, or at the very least, if your child perceives that you are not willing to listen, they will turn away. That is something that will be hard. That is one of the more difficult things to gain back from your child, is when they turn away from you because they don't believe that you will listen. Don't make that mistake. Don't make that mistake to think that you are above your child simply because you are their parent. You don't need to be their friend, no, but to be a guide and a teacher is to understand that you are on a more equal footing than the convention of parenthood has led you to realize. That is one of the most harmful mindsets, in my opinion, that conventional parenthood has put in place, which is that you have to be a managing authority. But that is not what you are here for. Your child does not need to be managed. They are not your employee. They are your child. They need to be nurtured. They need to be loved. They need to be understood. And as their parent, it's most important that those concepts come from you and your partner, from their parents, because you, both of you, as their parents, are two halves of the whole that make up your child. And they see that both philosophically and biologically. Whether we are willing to accept it or not, as young as the age of 4, that concept begins to form in that child's mind. Because you two, the mother and the father, the two parents, the two figureheads that are most present in their life in the beginning of their development, becomes ingrained in their mind. And they see that every day. And there is a level of pressure that comes from that, I understand. But take a deep breath and realize that this is part of that journey and growth required to become a parent, to understand some of the more complex concepts that aren't spoken of. But you will understand them as they come, as you stumble through it. Because much like life, we learn more through living than we learn from attempting to educate ourselves through the scholastic means. Because the books, the writing, the advice can only get you so far. The experience is what teaches you. And as harrowing and as scary as this journey is, don't forget, take a breath and take it in. Take in every second. Because the moment that your child is born, time is going to move so fast. And you're going to miss it in a blink of an eye. So soon they will start to be walking, talking, and understanding. So relish every second that you have. Take it all in, or you will not get it again. Remember that as a parent. There is so much to consider, so much to think about. It's daunting and dizzying. You got this. You do. All right, my friend? And I truly do appreciate you sending in this particular submission, because this is an important subject to talk about. And once again, you, new dad, congratulations, my friend. You are in for the most exciting journey of your life. I appreciate all of you. I appreciate your submission. Now, before we move on to our second submission, I want to take a second to say thank you to our Patreon subs, Geisophage, Audacia, and Minimoto TV. Your support means the absolute world and aids in my continuation as a content creator. So thank you. Now, before we continue on, let's have a small commercial break, shall we?
Well, hey there, everybody. Did you know that Asian Fasha Gamer has a Patreon?
That's right, everybody, and we're here to tell you about it together.
Subscribers have a chance to see content early, as well as request content on higher tiers.
That's right. You can ask Asian Fashion Gamer to read you a story, talk to you about lore or gameplay, or many other things.
But wait, there's more.
Subs that have been stayed around for 3 months or longer get special gifts. And if we reach our stretch goal of 10 subs or more, we will continue to add more to the Patreon, making it better for all of you.
So please consider, at the very least, checking out Asian Fasha Gamer's Patreon. Maybe subscribing and supporting him. And of course, we thank you for your time.
Hey everybody, Mr. Announcer and Random Skull are here to tell you about something amazing.
That's right. We have a merch store known as the AFG Brand Store, where you can purchase many different things.
Do you want a tin cup? Do you want a water bottle? Do you need a shirt? Do you need other things? Things that make you so that you support Asian Fasha Gamer? Well, check out the AFG Brand Store.
But wait, there's more!
That's right. We are going to be continuing to add to the merch store. On the monthly, we'll be adding in new designs as well as, of course, introducing discounts for all of you.
So check out the afgbrandstore.com.
Welcome back, everybody. I do want to once again say thank you to all of you. I hope you enjoyed our first segment, and let's get on into our second submission, shall we? Which is brought to us by Disappointed Son. And they write, Dear Fahza, my mother recently told me I was going to hell and said I was no longer her son. This was because I announced to her that my boyfriend and I were getting married. To clarify, I am gay, and my mother took a long time to accept that. I thought we were past all this though, since it's been almost 10 years since I came out and told her about myself, and she has since met my fiance, and she was polite to him and even invited him to holidays. So imagine my surprise when I told her that we were getting married, only to be met with tears, but not happy tears, devastated tears. She said in front of my fiance that she thought that this was a phase, and that eventually I would get over this. That she indulged me because her priest told her that with patience and love, I would see the truth. I was honestly mortified, and I left to my mother yelling at me that I was going to hell, and I was no longer her son, that I could no longer be saved, and she was tired of trying and lying, acting like everything was okay. Since that night, I haven't talked to my mother, and she has been trying to call me every day since then. But I truly feel like I am also done after what she said. But I am still pretty hot-headed about it all, and I would like to ask you for some advice on this, Fahza. What do you have to say about all this? Am I being too harsh cutting my mother out of my life? I could really use a bit of that Fahzaly perspective here. Sincerely, Disappointed Son. Well, Disappointed Son, I can tell why you're disappointed. This actually goes hand in hand with our first submission when it comes down to what a parent's role is. Your mother, sadly, has failed at that role because she forgot to be a guardian. She forgot to be a teacher. She forgot to love and understand. And those are the most important things a parent can do. She wanted to control you. She wanted you to fulfill her expectations. And that is when a parent fails. When they believe that their child is nothing more than the expectations that they have. I am so sorry that you were privy to a failure in parenthood. Because here's some tough truth for parents out there. Your child does not have to listen to you. They do not have to love you. They don't have to care about you. I know this is going to piss a lot of people off, but they don't. And how you treat them, how you raise them, will determine their threshold within that. Because being in somebody's life is a privilege. Nobody's entitled to it. It doesn't matter if you gave birth to them or not. And to you, Disappointed Son, this is something that so many people forget, and I hope that you know this, and if you don't, hold on to this fact. Your time, your mind, your heart are gifts. They need to be treated thusly. Nobody, and I mean nobody, is entitled to them. Not even if they gave birth to you. No blood relative is entitled to anything. Because these are yours. give and yours to take back. Is the power that you have, one of the many pieces of control that we have over our lives, is whom we choose to spend our time with. Just because they are blood relatives does not mean they are privy to our time. If they cannot respect who we are, and if they are constantly willing to dismiss and disrespect, then why should you give them the time of day? And as harsh and as sad as it might be to lose somebody like family, much like spending time with you, is a privilege. And if you don't want them around, you don't have to be around them. Sure, there is a point where a child is dependent on a parent. But when a parent chooses to take advantage of that to think that there is a point of control there, they stop being a parent and they start being a tyrant. And then they fail. Not the child, they fail. A parent's job is never to control or manage, because your child is not your goddamn employee. You're not supposed to manage them, nor are you supposed to control them. They are not a tool. No child is born to fulfill the expectations or wishes or wants of any parent. And here's another tough reality for some parents to face. Just because you failed in life and were not able to reach your goals does not mean that it is your child's responsibility to fulfill those goals. If you are unable to live a fulfilling life, that's your goddamn fault, not your child's. And your child should not be born as a solution to living an unfulfilled life. That is unfair to that child. And you, whom are privy to such action, you whom do such action, are not a parent. You are a monster. Because you fail to recognize the basic and simple principle of autonomy. For every child that is born is a unique, autonomous individual. And they have their own life to live and their own journey to take. They are not born conscripted to your needs, wants, or self. And this is a message to the parents out there that think this. Because you're the reason why your kids don't want to be around you. Because a parent's like disappointed son's parents, thinking that their child has to be something that they expect them to be, rather than fulfilling the role of a parent. To guide, to love, to understand. That is a very simple concept, yet complex in its own ways. There are so many parents I have seen that fail in that concept. There are also so many parents who flourish in that concept, in understanding that their child is their own self, and that they are not a quote-unquote mini-me. They are never a miniature version of you. They are their own selves, and they have their own life to live. They may have two halves of a whole that made them, but that person, something new, someone new. And parents who fail to recognize that simply fail. So, disappointed son. Personally, now keep in mind that this is an opinion. And there may be people out there that don't agree with me. And ultimately, what you do going forward is something that you're going to have to decide. But before we get into that, my opinion in this particular subject is that it is not harsh to cut your mother out of your life when she has no need or want to respect you, your choices, and your wants. So why the hell should you give any consideration to what she wants? Now, some things to think about and to face, because this is just my opinion. The reality of it is you have a decision to make on your own. And no matter what decision you make, you're going to face consequences. You can choose to cut your mother out of your life because she will not respect you, or she hasn't grown to respect you. But doing so means that you are cutting your mother out of your life. That in itself has the consequences of you losing a family member, on top of losing the potential of her growing up. But that doesn't mean that you can't reconnect down the road, of course. Now, considering keeping her in your life also will have its consequences of a constant battery of persecution of the way that you choose to live. And the chance that she won't change, she won't decide to start understanding, and that her mindset will consistently stay the same and be harmful to you. These are all things that you need to consider moving forward, because it is your life, and these are your decisions that you yourself need to make. The best I can do is lay it out there for you so that you have a more broad perspective of what you may face going forward. And I'm sorry if that's not the answer that you're looking for. But that is a reality we all have to face. No matter what, every step forward we take, we face consequences just as much as we face the rewards. And we have to be ready for that, to adapt to it, to accept it, and to take accountability, because it is our life, and we are the one taking action in it. Can't blame anybody else for the life that we choose to live. So, disappointed son. First off, this is something I should have said earlier. But congratulations on your upcoming nuptial. Truly, I'm happy for you, and I hope you are too. I know that there is some emotional weight with this particular situation, but don't let it take away from the fact that you have found a partner in life and you're moving forward with it. That's amazing. And I appreciate your submission, disappointed son. I hope that you found value in my words and that both of our submitters understood and found value in what I had to say. Thank you so much for joining me for today's episode of Fahzaly Advice. I thank you to our viewers, our submitters, all of our supporters, and of course, our Patreon subs. Thank you so very much. Now it's time for this love train to get rolling on through. Choo choo. I love every single freaking one of you.
What's up, everybody? Random Skull here. I just wanted to let you know that Asian Fascia Gamer live streams 5 days a week.
That's right, and you can join him on those 5 days a week by checking out his schedule. He streams on Mondays at 3 p.m., Tuesdays through Thursdays at 1:30 p.m., and on Fridays at 3:30 p.m. Come join the fun and see what we do.
Well, everybody, that's the end of Fahzaly Advice. I hope you did enjoy this episode and you found some value in what I said. And of course, if you are interested in participating, if you need some advice or some perspective, feel free to email the address at the end of this part. And remember, all submissions are 100% anonymous. Thank you so much and have a wonderful day.
Need some perspective? Need some advice? Want your submission read on podcast? Well, email Fahza at fahzalyadvice@gmail.com. And remember, all submissions are 100% anonymous unless requested upon.